Clinton Yates, J.A. Adonde, Kevin Blackistone, and my girl, Monica McNutt. Embiid 51. Anyone want to go ahead and start engraving the 2024 MVP award? And Ravens at 49ers. Who's going to tell me this is a Super Bowl preview? And then Cameron Dicker.
Rain, sleet, or snow, this lake is ready to go.
You know, I remember when self-promotion used to be the mating call, the mute button. Speaking of which, whatever happened to that? The Ebenezer Scrooge of Around the Horn. Let's go.
Happy Kwanzaa, y'all. Coming up.
Look at that. Very.
All right, panel, we're going to start with Joel Embiid going big. Last year's MVP, 51-12 in the Sixers win over the Timberwolves. That's 51, thanks to a free throw miss, a team offensive rebound, and then a basket. Last night, the crown jewel so far in an unbelievable wilt-like run for Embiid. All right, Jay, let's start with you. How impressive was Embiid's night, his recent run, and his MVP follow-up?
It's super impressive because it's showing that he has still another level to go to. We thought he'd maxed out with that MVP that he wanted so badly, but he's not done. He's greedy. He said in an interview recently that the greats, the real greats, have multiple MVPs, multiple championships, and that's what he's talking about. I think this is a good indication that if he were to get a championship, he wouldn't stop just there. It wouldn't satisfy him because he's not satisfied with one MVP, clearly. More importantly, the Sixers have overtaken the Celtics and have the best point differential in the league. So they're tracking toward a championship in that regard as well. And Embiid, the one area where he's really leading statistically is win shares per 48 minutes, and he's dominant in that category.
Look at J.A. coming up with all the numbers. Clinton Yates, I spoke to NBA people before the season. They said, watch Embiid. He got his MVP award. He's not going to play as well. It's been the complete opposite. He's actually been better this year. What about Embiid's play?
He's been better this year. They need him. Of the 26 points they scored in the third quarter, just those last night, he scored 19 of them. And you talked about all the things he's better at. In less minutes, points, steals, rebounds, assists, and blocks have all improved in less time. Overall, though, watching this Sixers team last night, this was the point of the season where I looked at it, I said, that team can win the NBA championship. You look at the blueprint that a team like the Nuggets had last year in terms of Jokic and Murray and that 1-2 punch, and they put things together. The Sixers, we don't know what's going to happen at the trade deadline, finally looked like they were in their top form. And for a guy like Embiid, who stayed mature, stayed with the same team while the rest of the league has evolved around him, he almost seems like this elder statesman of his generation who's really ready to just focus and get it done. That interview that you're talking about, J.A., the one coming out on Christmas with Good Times, Tim Bontemps, the maturity shown there was something that I didn't know he had. And to see him develop into that right now, it's a fantastic thing for me.
Monica McNutt, hasn't poor Rudy Gobert suffered enough over the past month? First it was Draymond Green, now it's Joel Embiid. What about the play of Joel Embiid?
Jeez, Cranky Frank, why is Gobert catching strays in this conversation? Look, Joel Embiid has been otherworldly. There's no way to deny that. He's shooting 61% from the field, averaging 5.9 rebounds. Assists. That's the career best. I think the maturity that Yates talks about is also key, but you can't talk about Joel Embiid in this year without mentioning Tyrese Maxey being able to stabilize that point guard position, in addition to Nick Nurse, and really solidifying this system that has been a long-going process being centered around Joel Embiid.
And Monica, the reason I mentioned Rudy Gobert, everyone talks about him being Defensive Player of the Year. Well, a guy who could be Defensive Player of the Year just got scored on by Embiid, 51 points. Doesn't that mean something to you? Doesn't that hurt Gobert just a little bit?
I mean, no, because over his last 10 games, Embiid has been insane. He's averaging like 42 points rather, and shooting 61% from the field. Everybody can get it, clearly.
All right, Kevin, I saved the best for last. What about the play of Embiid this season?
Outstanding. And you know, you showed that clip of him missing a free throw. Guess what? That was the one free throw he missed in 18 trips to the line last night. This guy can do it all. He's gotten better in every phase of the game, and his team is responding to him. Of course, Tyrese Maxey is a huge part of this team, but check this out. They're 19-5 with Embiid. He's missed 3 games this year. They've won none of those. So when you talk about a most valuable player in this league, most valuable player to his team, this is a team that has been mentioned can get a championship riding a healthy Embiid.
All right, Jay, if you go back to last season, what everyone said about Nikola Jokic was, all right, he's won MVPs, but what about in the playoffs? Are we now going to hold Joel Embiid to that same standard?
We need to, and clearly he is himself, because he's not just talking about MVPs, he's talking about championships. But yes, we can't extrapolate anything beyond this other than this regular season performance until he demonstrates that it can translate into going deeper in the playoffs than he has before.
Clinton Yates, you want the final word?
Joel Embiid is playing the best basketball of his life, and he's really, really fun to root for. As a human being who represents what the NBA is overall right now, never mind whether or not his team can bring back the
That time of season. We all should represent something good. All right, we've been horned. Let's move on. This week's NFL game of the week, of the month, of the year, Ravens at 49ers. A Super Bowl preview, perhaps. But come Monday, the Ravens are underdogs, and that has their feathers ruffled. See what I did there? We feel a little disrespected by that, said safety Kyle Hamilton. John Harbaugh said the team was using it as motivation. So, Clinton, how much is motivation worth in this case, and do you see this as a Super Bowl preview?
I hope by week 17 you don't need comments in the media to be motivated for the Ravens, but you want to get mad at the Vegas line? Get mad at the TV partners. This game isn't even getting flexed. It's a 1 p.m. regular game, and it's the 2 best teams in the league. Vikings-Pack is on Sunday Night Football. Don't ask me why they haven't moved that game. Overall, though, the 49ers are a better football team, in my opinion, and they're playing at home. So the Ravens can get upset about that. Niners are top 5 in all of the top 10 in the 4 most important statistical categories. I think that Christian McCaffrey is the difference in these two teams right now. I don't think it's going to be as close as 5.5 as the people in Vegas have it, but I don't think that there's anything wrong with them being favored, the Niners, that is.
Monica McNutt?
I think you take motivation from anything you need
Right.
motivation from. Do they need it? But I don't think they need it. But using it, I'm totally fine with it. This is what I will say about the Ravens. Somehow, to me, they still manage to fly under the radar, but they're also fantastic. They're 6-1 on the road. They're really good on the road. I get that this thing is going to be in San Francisco, but they've got a team that's shown that they can win when they travel.
All right, I get motivation by you calling me Cranky Frankie, so you know what that means. Kevin Blackistone, Ravens.
Well, I mean,
Baltimore.
the thing you got to look at with San Francisco is they have all the shiny pieces that everybody talks about, whether it's Brock but most importantly, McCaffrey, Debo, Bosa, Warner, Kittle. They've got all that. When you talk about the Ravens, sometimes you talk about the guys they don't have, like Andrews getting hurt, right? Dobbins. But yet they've got the number 1 rushing offense. They've got Lamar out there doing Lamar things. They've got the best, maybe the best special teams unit when you talk about Justin Tucker, and you saw him win a game the other week with a kick return, a punt return for a touchdown. They have reason to wonder about why they are being doubted. Not only that, you know, in college football, we like to talk about strength of schedule. If we talk about it in the NFL, the Ravens, 15th. Where are the 49ers? 25th. So, yeah, they deserve some more respect.
All right, J.A., should the Ravens be more upset with the odds makers, or are they using this just as motivation for the 49ers?
They should have no beef with the odds makers. Remember, the odds makers are putting lines that they think will cause the public to bet equally on both sides. That's how they make their money. So it's nothing personal. It's actually a credit to them that it's within a touchdown when the Niners have won, I think it's the last 6 games by double digits. So they're giving the Ravens a lot of credit that they're not going to get blown out, and the Niners are playing at home. Really, Lamar Jackson should be upset that Brock Purdy is the odds-on favorite right now to win the MVP, given what Lamar Jackson has done, what he's meant to this team. Remember, Purdy's absorbed all 3 losses came on his watch. Trent Williams maybe should be the MVP. The 49ers have only lost once when he's been playing. But, hey, if the Ravens win, then they have the best record in the NFL, and we need to start talking even more seriously about Lamar Jackson as the MVP.
Good job for a segue, J.A., because let's talk a little MVP. We mentioned Brock Purdy, Lamar Jackson, maybe Christian McCaffrey. Clinton, could this game maybe decide who has the edge in the MVP race?
Yeah, but I'm not in the way that people think. Personally, I think Purdy's skill set replaceable in a certain way. Lamar Jackson's not. But the one person who is definitely not replaceable on any team anywhere is Christian McCaffrey. I know that we don't necessarily assign value that way in the league now. It's pretty much the best quarterback on the best team, which is why him and Purdy are splitting votes. But if there's one person that I think is going to be the difference, it actually stands out on this team, It's Christian McCaffrey, man. The guy's too
All
good.
right, Monica, you know I find you irreplaceable on this show. Who do you got as MVP? And you think it could be decided this weekend?
Oh, man. I tend to leave Lamar Jackson. I'm absolutely biased. I don't think that it gets decided this weekend because I do think Yates is right. McCaffrey is sort of an altering piece. But if the Ravens win this game when everybody's saying how tough it is, then you have to have this as a signature piece in the conversation when we get to MVP award.
Kevin?
Everybody clearly will be looking at it and making their judgment. But I'll just say this: Lamar Jackson came into this season with that big bag over his shoulder. People wondered about whether or not he deserved that. He deserves every bit of it, and he is proving it with this MVP type season he's having.
It's amazing. Last week, Tim Kalishaw is talking about Dak Prescott as the MVP, and just like that, we're talking Christian McCaffrey, Brock Purdy, and of course, Lamar Jackson. Buy or sell? Next. Tonight, Saints and Rams. Don't scoff at this one. It's got playoff implications for both teams. 7-7 Saints have won 2 in a row, and they're tied atop someone's got to get the NFC South. 7-7 Rams, appropriately enough, 7th in the NFC. Both need it tonight, but who gets it, Clinton?
I think it's got to be the Rams. This is their biggest game of the season. When this campaign started, people didn't think this was even close to a playoff team, and now Stafford, the veteran, has them back in it. But there is one concern that I have. Cooper Kupp himself said he had reservations about playing 2 games in 5 days on the artificial turf at SoFi. I expect a little bit of a fatigue factor here for the Rams, but I think they can pull it off.
Point for player safety. J.A.?
Yeah, and I don't expect Kupp to be as wide open as he was on that TD last weekend, but the Rams do need it more. The Saints do play in the aforementioned NFC South. If the Rams lose this game, their playoff probabilities diminish to near nothing.
Kevin?
Yeah, Cooper Kupp won't be that open against a tough defense that the Saints have, particularly in that secondary. Haven't allowed a touchdown in the past 2 games. So I like the Saints to go into California and pull off the upset.
Monica?
I'm going Saints too, Cranky Frank. I mean, they're getting healthy. Olave's supposed to return. Derek Carr's playing with tremendous momentum. And I was at the game Sunday versus the Commanders. I know it was late, but they did let Jacoby Brissett throw 2 touchdowns. Derek Carr's rolling with some momentum, and he's got his guys.
Look at that. You gave us an I was there. By the way, the Rams, one of the best offensives in the league.
That information.
Week 12. All right, buy or sell 2. Clippers 120, Mavs 111. For LA, that's 9 in a row. Last night without Paul George, but yet Kawhi and James Harden putting up great lines and big baskets late in the 4th. And for now, the Westbrook bench experiment, it's working. So, J.A., does this run have you believing in the Clippers?
You have to. Their point differential now is top 5 in the league. That's where champions come from, is that mix. And also have to believe in Ty Lue's long-term thinking, because when they first started losing all those games when Harden got there, you could see he was managing the lineup with the long-term in mind, and it's starting to pay off now.
Kevin?
And now he doesn't really have to manage it because Kawhi Leonard has played 27 of the games this season, which are all on their schedule. PG has also played 25. When's the last time those guys played 25 games together? That's the big difference in these Clippers.
Monica, I know you've seen the Clippers a couple of times in person. You believe in them?
Let me get my attendance points. And the answer is absolutely yes, Cranky Frank. Here's the thing.
Counts.
As much as they can score the basketball, they also can defend at a high level. Kawhi Leonard is healthy. Paul George, 2 all-NBA caliber defenders. You throw in Terrence Mann and Zubac and Tice and at the 4 and 5 positions, this team is crazy. I got them in my top 4 contenders right now.
Clinton, you believe in the Clippers?
Yes, this is another team that I saw play, and I said that's a team that could win the title. By the way, my man Zubac, I love him because he does what so many big men don't do. Gets the ball down low and dunks it. That's the best play every time, big man. Please keep that up. But Ty Lue, the reason why I'm appreciative of him so much, Westbrook and Harden, happy basketball players, distributing the rock, getting up and down the court. This is a major miracle, not a minor one if you've been following the last couple of years of the NBA. I can't believe it.
Holiday cheer from Clinton Yates. All right, I got one for you. What is the most consecutive games that Kawhi Leonard has ever played in? You get the number, you get a lot of points. What do you got? Yell it out. Let's go.
30.
54.
The number is 41 to close out the 2014-2015 season. All right, let's go to buy or sell 3. Caitlin Clark telling Coach K her upcoming decision after the season, whether to go to the WNBA or whether to stay at Iowa for a 5th season, is a win-win. All right, Monica, which would be the bigger win?
I personally think the bigger win is to go to the WNBA just because you don't want to risk injury and all that good stuff. She'll have the opportunity to take all of her NIL and brand deals with her. She can start a camp in Indiana if she's the #1 overall pick, as she's been very successful in Iowa. But I totally understand why she's taking her time with this. But I got to say, as the only senior when I was graduating from college, the age gap, it starts to get annoying.
That's true. Got some old seniors out there. Clinton, women's college basketball, it's blown up over the last couple of years. What are you going to do if you're Caitlin Clark?
It's more than blown up. They are household names in women's college basketball that don't exist in the same way in the WNBA. She's got people building butter statues for her at state fairs, and kids are stealing cardboard cutouts of her from grocery stores in Iowa. I'm sorry. You can't recreate that kind of fame and that kind of community feel in the WNBA necessarily. Now, from a basketball standpoint, they're two different things. But if this were my choice, I'd take that ride as long as I could, being a god locally.
J.A., can she make as much money by staying at Iowa as she possibly could in the WNBA?
It could come close for sure with the NIL, but she said it wasn't just a win-win. She said because it's a hard decision. And my advice I give to people, and based on my own experience, when it's a hard decision, you stay. So if she's feeling it's a difficult choice, that means you should stay where you are.
Kevin, you're all about the college players getting paid, so what should Caitlin Clark do?
Get the hell out of college. What are we talking about here? She's the
Spoken
one
like
of
a
the best
professor.
players in college, which makes her one of the best players in the world. Play with the best players in the WNBA. That's where we want to see you. Don't stay back there in Iowa where I can only catch you every now and then on the Big Ten Network or something like that. I want to see you in the WNBA.
Clinton, the idea that Indiana won the top overall pick, kind of close to Iowa, I guess. That's how New Yorkers think. Everything is close together.
All you people think all the flyover states are the same. Get a map and look at them already. Talk about the East Coast vibes. Good Lord.
All right, I'm going to get a
What are we
map.
doing?
I'm going to be sending you to Mars and J.A. to Jupiter. We got Kevin and Monica in Showdown coming up.
DC homies.
Kevin and Monica, a three-pronged showdown. Let's start with a college ball night. Last night, number 21 Duke over number 10 Baylor. That was in New York City. Unranked Seton Hall over number 5, the defending champs UConn. That was in Newark. And somewhere, maybe it was in Indiana, one of those neighboring states like Iowa or North Carolina, UNC defeats undefeated number 7 Oklahoma. So Kevin, whose upset was the biggest?
Oh, it's got to be North Carolina pinning an L on Oklahoma for the first time this year. The 5th top 25 team in the last 6 outings for North Carolina. First time they've gone through that kind of a gauntlet in their history. Amazing.
Monica?
Oh, okay, KB. I got to go with the one that has more regional implications, and that would be Seton Hall knocking off UConn in terms of Big East action. Second-year head coach Shaheen Holloway, they're going to recruit the same guys. He's bringing this program back to prominence in the Big East. It's that one to me.
And it's amazing, too. Duke's home away from home is Madison Square Garden. They seem to play there all the time. But
True.
Monica, very good because Danny Hurley is a New Jersey guy, and he lost last night. So, Monica, you get the points. All right, showdown number 2. The first day of the early signing period in Georgia, claiming the number 1 recruiting class and flipping a 5-star safety from FSU for Florida State. Also, Colorado, the number 1 transfer class, stocking up on offensive linemen. That's an area of need. So, Monica, what stood out to you?
I want to believe that it's the number 1 transfer class. I mean, these guys are a year older, wiser, stronger, and know what their previous experience was or wasn't heading out to join Coach Prime. But I'm actually just looking at Alabama sitting back in the mix with the number 2 class overall.
Kevin?
Thank you very much. It's all about the SEC. 5 of the top 8 recruiting classes all in the SEC. And Nick Saban comes out the winner with the number 1 quarterback in the country. And they said Nick was washed up.
I know. I think that was a topic back in September. Good job, Kevin. All right, it all comes down to this. Showdown number 3, Cameron Dicker's Pro Bowl campaign. Roll it.
My name is Cameron Dicker, and I'll kick for you. Rain, sleet, or snow, this leg is ready to go. So don't be a and let me kick for you at the Pro Bowl.
Man, now that I think about it, I should have tried that to get into the Tournament of Champions. Oh, well. Kevin, does he get your vote?
Absolutely gets my vote. You see the framing there? That was perfect. The superimposition was perfect. The sound was perfect. Absolutely.
All right, Monica, you're all about hype videos. Did you like it?
He does get our vote, and I think the final touch would be the Mickey Mouse ears. Shout out to our company. Yay!
There we go. Well, it is Christmas. Kevin, you came dressed for the occasion. So, Kevin, you get the points. You get the Christmas win. You get the face down.
Thank you very much. Happy holidays, everyone. And as you know, I love to make eggnog for the holidays. Last year, I made my eggnog from scratch, as always, tucked it in the back of the refrigerator to age it for a year. Just happened to look in the back of the fridge the other day, it was gone. I turned to Marilyn Olafunso Ferenre, my partner, and said, "Yo, where's the eggnog?" And she said, "Oh, it had been sitting there for a while, so I threw it out." Threw it out! The whole purpose was to age it. You threw out a good, flavored eggnog that I would never have had before. Now I've got to start all over again this Christmas. Eggs, cognac, rum, bourbon, separate the eggs,
Year-old
yolks,
eggnog?
Year-old dairy products?
You ruined it for everyone. Come on, Kevin. Don't
Forever
forget, that's it for us. Tony's
from
back
the
tomorrow.
cookout, Kevin.
Tournament of Champions.
Forever coming to my
Monica, how did you and I not get in it? I know why the other three didn't. Let's go.
Happy